Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. It's been a while since we've covered Rammstein, despite Mein Herz Brennt being one of my all-time favorite performances to analyze on this channel. So, today we're going to return with Engel, or Engel. But first, I want to give a big shout out of thanks to Andy and Paolo who helped prep this video. You guys are super awesome. I'm really excited to get to hear Till again, so let's get to it.
Amerika. Total German. Amerika.
I was not sure when this video first started. I thought, is this just an intro or is this part of the actual song? So very curious with so much symbolism. Oh man. Everything I've seen by Rammstein has had incredible symbolism built in. And I think it's so interesting to hear this whistle as a little hook that they've built into it as well. There's a lot that's going on here. I want to go back to the beginning and catch it all again.
Amerika. Total German. Amerika.
Part of me does wonder if that was there because this is the Madison Square Garden performance and is obviously part of their trip to America. I'm really curious. It feels like such an incredible intro. I believe that this performance in Madison Square Garden was the one I read about that sold out in 30 minutes. That's just, wow. I had no idea that they were such a big deal until I just first started dabbling into them. That's really incredible. I love the effects on the show. Obviously, you have this incredible lighting behind Till as he's coming out and has got this sort of robotic angel thing happening. And the light that he's coming out of, it really does look like he's descending from heaven, perhaps, for this moment. One more time, I'm so curious about this. So interesting how they use some pitch bending on that.
Total German. Amerika.
Yeah, part of me thinks that the song on the album starts right there. I'm not sure though.
Auf Erden wird nach dem Tod ein Engel werden.
His characterization of this angel is astounding. It's in so many little tiny details. Things like how he's looking down between moments at the mic, the way he took the mic stand and actually brought it to him, leaned it to him a little bit. It's in the way his posture is leaning over as well. Imagine those wings must weigh a lot. The harness on his body is pretty incredible. One of the only other performances that I can really compare it to, sort of a similar genre, is Maynard in Sober. The way he really took on an entire different personality in that. I love what I've seen of Till and the way he puts on a certain character for his performances. I think it's really incredible and so dedicated and so nuanced. I want to go back. Wow, like just look at the way he's leaning. Oh, they've even designed the mic stand, it looks like, so he can do that and bring it to him. It's got like a spring on it. Fascinating. I'm really curious what's hanging off the wings as well. There's this big cord. It's gonna do something. Wow. Robotic arm.
Wer zu Lebzeit ruht auf Erden, wird nach dem Tod ein Engel werden. Dem linken Himmel fragst du dann, warum man sie nicht sehen kann. Der wenn die Wolken schlafen liegen, kann man uns am Himmel sehen. Wir haben Angst und sind allein. Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein.
I love that whistle hook. That's such a cool hook. Till's vocalizations are fascinating to me. I think at one point I had this thought like, oh, is he just speaking the whole time? And that was a very, very, very previous thought. This time, as I'm listening to him, I'm thinking, okay, when exactly is he going to add in a little bit more pitch? He rides this line of how spoken can it get before it becomes speech instead of singing. And in addition to that, he is really deliberate about the texture and the distortion of his voice, having a lot of continuity throughout. So that tells me, I think he uses a lot of false vocal folds in the sound that he's making. It sounds very low. And then in addition to that, it's fascinating to hear him come into this singing, almost droning on a note when he enters. It's so creative and so authentic. Here? Oh! I totally missed that the first time because I was listening so carefully to the vocals. We also have a female vocalist in this, I think Bobo is what she goes by. Might be different for this performance though. His wings open. That's why there's a bunch of chords. Aha! When he does this, he almost sounds like he's doing some Tuvan throat singing. That's what makes me partly think that it's the false folds, which are creating that really consistent rumble, essentially, in his throat.
Warum man sie nicht sehen kann. Wenn die Wolken schlafen liegen, kann man uns am Himmel sehen. Wir haben Angst und sind allein. Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein.
This is so fascinating. That's essentially where we first have his voice pop up and not be singing a sort of droning note. And the words are essentially, God knows I don't want to be an angel. I have read these lyrics ahead of time. Again, thank you, Andy. He gave me a uh, very specific translation. I have spoken German, lived in Germany for a year, had to study it a bunch for singing as well. But it's so nice when you have somebody who's super fluent in both to get all the details. It's excellent. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it's so interesting. When I read the lyrics ahead of time, I didn't imagine this sort of robotic, almost looks like hardly living angel to walk out. This angel almost looks tied down in some way. This version of an angel definitely makes you think, I wouldn't want to be that kind of angel. And it's so fascinating how they're painting essentially a different image of what an angel might be.
Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein.
I also think it's so interesting how he makes this sound on Sein. He actually almost like opens the throat up a little bit more and slides into it, almost like a vocal gulp that's being done. Sein. Yeah, I think you even can see it happen in his jaw. Let's see. There's space that opens up right in there.
Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein.
Yeah. I'm gonna call it a vocal gulp. It's part of his style.
Weiß, ich will kein Engel sein.
That's such a great lick. What does that sound? I'm curious, that sound I heard is going that it pictured, or it turned to the mic waving back and forth on that weird springy stand. So I thought at first maybe that was somehow tied to a synthesizer making that sound, but I don't think it was. It was a really interesting sound though. It sticks out and is in a very different frequency area essentially than a lot of the other sounds we're hearing. Man. Ooh. Whoa, was that him? He makes that mouth shape, but I don't think that's actually all his voice. Whoa, it's so cool to like.
Von uns unendlich weit. Sie müssen sich an Sterne klammern, ganz fest, damit sie nicht vom Himmel fallen.
Whoa, he's doing something opposite of what I often hear singers do, and deliberately doing it. He's flooding the end of the phrase with breath. Often towards the end of a phrase, we start to have not as much breath available, right? Everyone has less breath available at the end of a phrase because you've been using your breath up to sing all along. But that means a lot of times singers are feeding less air at the end of the phrase and have to think about getting it more. And he actually floods extra air in beyond the sound. So fascinating. Oh, I'm going to back a little more. Do you hear this? He like gives an extra almost air growl. And it's really interesting. You actually hear the voice go slightly sharp as that engages. Again, same thing. It's almost like a sustained, soft growl droning growl. I don't even know what exactly you call it. It almost feels like it comes from Sprechstimme, which is this really interesting compositional technique that you hear in opera, but it's like a lot more modern operas than you would think of as your typical traditional opera. But that comes from a German background too, so I'm wondering if he's pulled partly from that to inspire this expression.
Getrennt von uns unendlich weit. Sie müssen sich an Sterne klammern, ganz fest, damit sie nicht vom Himmel fallen. Erst wenn die Wolken schlafen liegen, kann man uns am Himmel sehen. Wir haben Angst und sind allein. Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein.
His wings are on fire. Those wings are really cool. Really cool. Also, his wings are on fire. Oh my gosh. This is like a little scary to think about a piece you're wearing on stage being on fire. Oh boy. He seems like he's covered in some sort of liquid. At first I thought maybe this is just sweat from, maybe this was later in the concert and he's been performing on stage for a while. It gets very hot and very sweaty when you're singing a lot. You can see that happen to me in a video that many of you have seen me analyze myself on this channel. If we go back, you can find it online. Me singing another German aria, actually, where I'm just pouring in sweat and my hair has lost all curl. So anyhow, singing is tough, tough work. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was covered in sweat from singing. But I'm wondering now if he's doused in something else that makes it so he doesn't catch on fire. Because I feel like these flames might consume more of the wings soon. And I'm starting to understand now why there's such a large wire attached to him. You're going to go back a little bit. It's amazing how relaxed I hear the true vocal folds in his voice. I think it's a very, very relaxed and open sound.
Kann man uns am Himmel sehen. Wir haben Angst und sind allein.
His eyes are so expressive.
Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein.
There's your vocal goal. Whoa! Oh my gosh. Can you imagine the thrill of being in that audience and seeing these flamethrowers out the ends of angel wings? Oh, that's so cool. Oh man, I want to ask Tink the Tech about how they keep that safe. I feel like he might know. That's crazy. Whoa. And again, love this whistle. It's like almost like a leitmotif at this point. It just comes back and back. Wow. That's so amazing. Oh, cool. Was it like some pop and locking I saw up there? Wow. I feel really surprised. I didn't know that there were so many electronic, it feels like very techno elements that Rammstein gets into. I knew that there was a little bit, but that feels like more than I expected. Really cool. Also love that he's dancing while doing that. That's awesome. This band surprises me, Till surprises me, because I know that he has such a beautiful baritone voice that he can classically use. And then I hear him sing with this totally different toolbox of expression, which I understand to be his normal sound. It's just really mind-boggling how he's developed this unique, authentic trademark of his sound. It's fascinating. And then you put together as well that they formed essentially before the fall of the wall, and how essentially different views of a country have defined their identity. It's so fascinating to read about the depth of their lyrics, and I think seeing how much time and how much history they've seen and evolved together throughout as a band. It's really cool. Anyhow, surprising techno moment. Oh, it's so cool. Whoa.
Erst wenn die Wolken schlafen gehen, kann man uns am Himmel sehen. Wir haben Angst und sind allein. Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein.
That's so nuts. The way it looks like some sort of flashers that were happening from his wings. So incredible. Wow, the pyrotechnics on that are just amazing. And to be wearing that is, I feel like it would be a little nerve-wracking, but he's so centered and completely absorbed in this character. Fantastic. I think it's so interesting how there's very clearly a melody for this last part we just heard, because you hear the female voice singing it like, I'm going to say 3 octaves higher. You hear her singing it up there. And then Till sings it sometimes and then veers away from it sometimes. Again, exploring where exactly is that line between spoken and sung. He blurs it more than any singer I've ever heard. Back a little more.
Wenn die Wolken schlafen gehen, kann man uns am Himmel sehen. Wir haben Angst und sind allein. Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein.
It's so impressive to hear this full sound that he gets into with this part. Just know the wide array of expression that he's able to achieve.
Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein. Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein.
Wait, he didn't gulp that time.
Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein.
I swear the way he sings that is so classical at that moment. And that's partly because we're missing the vocal gulp that he does.
Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein.
Wow.
Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein. Gott weiß, ich will kein Engel sein. Nein.
It's really interesting to me that we've essentially been weaving around the same riffs the whole time. They're just playing with how to shift them very slightly every now and then, how to add a build. We've had this slow growing build all along. Of course, it's also a slow growing build with the pyrotechnics on stage as they grow and grow and grow. And the first one was wow, and then the next one was wow. And now we've got this huge pillar happening at times. It's wow. It's all wow. They're having so much fun. Whoa. Wow. Just look at the way he's looking up to heaven here, right? It's like he hates being this instrument, this angel. I think angels, sometimes we think of as fluffy, white feathered, benevolent beings. And I think actually in different literature, they can be creatures that wreak havoc, that destroy things, right? And maybe this angel is an instrument of destruction. I go back to the lyrics and the comment of they lived behind the sunshine, separated from us, infinitely distant, that they must cling to the stars so they won't fall from the sky. Right? That's a definite darker version of an angel. They don't have the sunshine. It's so intriguing and counter many aspects of culture. It makes you think. It's one of the things I like about Rammstein is they make me think. Wow. His characterization and the commitment to it in so many ways are what sells this particular angel and the emotions behind it. Let's go back a little bit. There were many great shots in this section of him and the way he's holding the character. Wow. Whoa. Whoa. Oh my gosh. Wow, those fireworks are insane. It's just, I had no idea those shows were this incredible. This is really, really cool. I wish I could see it live. But then this gaze downwards, Till looks like he feels incredibly alone in this. Wow. Whoa. This is like an entire scene from an opera or a musical. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Stupid good. A real taste of Germany.
Okay, I think that intro, now that I see this outro, I feel like it weaved in to the song, but I think that this was something outside of maybe the thing on the album for their tour in America. But again, I'm still not 100% sure because it's been weaved so dang well. Till is just one of the most fascinating artists for me to get to see and dig deep into. I think when you consider what art is, essentially expressing human creativeness or imagination, he goes so far in both of those things. Imagining what is singing and what is speaking and what's that line between, and then finding also this expressive creature to become. It's so impressive and inspiring. And I love getting to look at all of the details of how he's made something that is truly unique. Add to that the band overall, and I love just the vibe of this heavy rocking out. And you also get really intriguing subjects with tons of symbolism and unexpected themes. I think it's fascinating. I really love what Rammstein does, and I hope I get to see much more. So many thanks to all of you for this recommendation. Again, thank you to Andy and Paolo for your help. And if you'd like to see some other analysis of Rammstein, you can check out a playlist over here. May you fall more in love with music every day.